Welcome back to the Make Account Podcast.
I'm Marcus Mire, founder of Mire Group CPAs and the Total Control Accounting System.
And I'm Tyler Warner, a small business owner with a lot of accounting questions.
All right, Tyler, today we're going to talk about starting a business from scratch, but a new modern business.
Okay.
So using all the tools available and basically make the point that you could do all of this in your basement in your underwear.
In your mom's basement.
We don't have basements in Louisiana, but theoretically
right.
there are basements somewhere.
So a basement or Bali, whichever one.
My first suggestion was, if you got dropped off in Bali with a laptop.
Right.
But I think Bali probably has, it's not like primitive, right?
Yeah, I feel like this goes back to like kind of like the 4-hour work week, like just early days of like how you could hack everything to where like you could do everything from your phone or whatever, all remotely.
Yeah, and really you can. So all right, let's kind of get into it. I got a little outline here. We'll kind of walk through it. And so, all right, first things first. And I'm going to kind of throw in some pointers, caveats, potential pitfalls, traps for the unwary kind of stuff. All right. Everybody, when they start a business nowadays, they think LLC. So let's just go down that path. I'm not going to get into the different types of corporations and limited partnerships and family partnerships. But let's just say, for this example, LLC, you're going to form one. Okay, at least here in Louisiana, and I would imagine most states, you can go online. And so you can have your operating agreement, your articles, and let's talk like a solo kind of business. Like you don't have partners where you need a long operating agreement to manage how the,
that's probably safe to say. If Louisiana, you can do it online.
I
mean, no offense, but
Mississippi might not be.
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, so Louisiana has their Secretary of State has GoBiz, GEAUX. Of course.
Yeah.
So you can go there. You can form your LLC, get your articles. From there, you can go to the IRS website, get your tax ID number. So quick tip right there on your tax ID number. When doing that, they're going to ask you, how are you doing business? How are you organized? And so that's where you might have a question for an accountant or an advisor, just to kind of make sure you do that right. Because one thing I do see when people are setting up businesses, and especially with the state, Louisiana loves to do this. They think they're helping you by offering all these accounts to open. And what people don't know is, oh, great, I can open up a sales tax account. Little do they know, they don't need a sales tax account. And so what happens is, a month later, they get a notice in the mail that says, hey, you haven't filed your sales tax returns. And you're thinking, well, what the heck? It's because you set up a sales tax account when you didn't need one, or a withholding one. So the point is, a lot of these steps you could have an advisor jump in, but suffice to say, you can do them online. Tax ID number, both federal and state, you can do them online. Right. And so kind of that's your natural progressions. You've got your business entity. And the point I want to make, too, about a legal entity is that, we're not lawyers or a law firm, but obviously people kind of get the concept of protecting your assets, keeping things separate. That's a good thing. I think generally speaking, we can all agree, keep things separate. It then allows you to form your own separate bank account. Yeah. Keep things out of your personal name.
It's a low enough barrier to entry. Correct. You might as well do it.
Yeah, and again, as the point we're making here, it's not that hard to do anymore.
Right.
All right, so you got all that set. You got your federal ID number. You got your state ID number. You're an LLC. Let's talk about bank account. So you and I have had this kind of running joke about how banks think they have great service, but it's because they have hot, warm cookies in the lobby.
Sure.
But you really don't want to. But you're kind of pissed because who cares about the cookies if they take you an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not all. I think you and I are saying we have a different level of what's good service.
Right.
The good service is what I'm about to talk about. Is somebody like Relay. So I kind of stumbled upon Relay from a lot of colleagues, which is just an online bank. And really cool, really slick. And again, we're talking about starting a new modern business. So why not use an online bank? Mm-hmm. So Relay, really cool. You can have it set up. I think I had mine set up in a day. And basically what you do is you upload your articles, your tax ID number, which we talked about. And what I didn't mention here is your federal tax ID number. Once you fill out the online application, you have the PDF, like instantly. Yeah, so you're done.
So we're at 20 minutes in on starting this modern business in the basement.
In the basement. You might at this point have opened your Doritos. Let's just say that.
Yeah, you pause the video game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't played video games in so long. Do you still pause? Like that seemed
I don't know. No, my son does
take out the cartridge and blow it.
I know that you can't. because my son always has some game he's playing that he can't do what I'm asking him to do because he can't stop.
Yeah. That was smart of them to make him that way.
Oh, yeah. No, Dad, I'll do it right after. Don't you worry. So you just opened up your Doritos, and now your worry is, are your fingers orange, right?
Nacho cheese, keyboard.
Yeah, that's right. So Relay, you can do. I know the first question everybody's going to ask, what about checks? Well, first of all, we're starting a modern business here.
Right.
We don't issue checks. But if you did collect checks, people paid you by check, once you have your Relay account, you have an app. Literally, you scan a picture of the front and the back, and you deposit your checks.
Look, I can say I don't use Relay, but I use another similar modern bank, and I don't have checks. You can do bill pay, and it's no charge. It's,
Yeah, most people those things are really commoditized now.
Right.
So if you just, really want to issue checks, you can.
Sure.
You go to the Relay.
No, these are physical checks.
These are physical checks, So Relay
but
literally.
I just don't have a checkbook.
Right. Relay literally, you go in the app or online, you say pay so and so, and they cut a check for you.
Right.
So kind of got the check thing. We're in the States here, which I learned coming on this kind of cloud accounting journey is that the United States is way behind the rest of the world in terms of payments. Nobody uses checks around the world. Like that's very much an American thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, they allow it. But then you also could get set up in paying your vendors. So Relay has a $30 per month bill pay. What's really cool about it is, let's just say like for you, you provide services to our firm. If we started up and we said, Tyler, okay, do our website, we go to engage you, we send you a link. You put in your payment information, you fill out your W-9. And for people that have issued 1099s know what a pain that is. Like, got to go at the end of the year, my accountant's telling me, get a W-9 from so-and-so.
Right.
It captures it on the front end. Now I can pay you. I can set you up on recurring payment. I can just take care of paying you easily via ACH. I think it's free. Just you pay for the bill pay, $30, and it's unlimited.
Yeah.
So right then and there, you've kind of covered bill payment, checks, depositing checks, and then obviously you have a bank account. You can see the balance, and it's easy, and it's really slick.
Right.
All right. So that's banking. Any questions there?
No, I mean, I'm just thinking too, like, not only could you pay your vendors, but with that tax ID and a bank account, you could set up Stripe. We talked about that. I mean, that could be done in the next half an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to be generous.
Yeah.
No,
this is when you're
time to wipe off your fingers.
You're on to the Cool Ranch Doritos at this point. Right. So I mean, you can have your Stripe account.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of going to talk about kind of the next little phase is that, all right, you're ready now to start running your business and to do your accounting, right? Which this is like the crescendo, right?
Exactly.
That's what you were waiting for, I'm sure. We want to get into the accounting.
Right.
All right, so we use Xero. We love Xero. Xero has a direct feed into Relay. And what that means is, it's really cool. Xero already has bank feeds with lots of banks, but a direct feed means that the data comes in daily, instantaneously. It's really cool. So it was funny, the minute I set up my Relay account, this is going to be cool. I set up the integration and said connect to Xero. I went in Xero, and it had put a new bank account in my chart of accounts, and it had it sitting there.
Wow.
It's really cool.
So a pretty deep integration.
It's a direct connection.
Yeah.
And so my point in that is you start spending money, you're paying, like I mentioned, paying you. That stuff's getting reconciled. That's feeding into Xero. So you're already set up now to do business better. You got your data in one place, which we've talked a ton about that.
Right.
Again, even if you code Tyler's payments to advertising versus web development or market, whatever easy fixes to change that if you want to, or if you just put it to office supplies, who cares?
Yeah.
Somebody can fix that easily. The main point is the data's all in one place.
Right.
So we love that. And then, man, you start talking about, all right, I'm spending money now. I'm out in the field. So I'm at the client's office, and I got to stop in and I want to bring him lunch. Well, I go into Jason's Deli. I pick up lunch, snap a picture of the receipt in the Xero app, code it to meals, boom, that's done. I throw away the receipt, so we hadn't talked about document management.
Yeah.
Don't need to capture it, don't need to take, I got it. That receipt lives in Xero until I delete it in perpetuity. And I've then coded it, so I don't have to go back later and do accounting.
Right.
The accounting's done. And the next thing you can do through the Xero app is also pay employees if they're out in the field. They can start submitting expense claims like if they were the one out in the field and you didn't have a company credit card, which we didn't even talk about Relay. You can set up cards like literally in 2 clicks.
Wow.
You can set up to 10 cards, and they could be virtual or physical. Another thing we didn't mention. Whoa. So you got somebody that's in the office, and let's just say, I'm kind of on a tangent here.
No, that's
but
good
you're
though.
in the office and you say, okay, I'm leaving for 2 weeks. I need you guys to pay all the bills online. Set up a credit card, a virtual card for 2 weeks. The minute you get back in the office, you kill that card. Just hit it, done. It's gone.
That's awesome.
And that's literally 2 clicks.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you guys out in the field, he goes and pays for Jason's Deli on his credit card.
Jason's Deli.
Yeah, everybody
Dude,
likes
we went
it.
from Doritos to Jason's Deli.
We're versatile here, right? And we're growing up.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
fair enough.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
All right, so
eat a salad every once in a while. It's not a big
right,
deal.
you know. So you pay that. Your employee pays that. Literally, he submits a expense reimbursement claim in Xero through an app. It's got the receipt
Yeah.
attached. He probably writes the name of the customer at the top. I mean, simple stuff.
Yeah.
He throws the receipt away. So we're already kind of cultivating this whole paperless virtual system. And not once have we said this is really expensive. Relay's free. The bill pays $30 a month. Okay. Xero, you can get a subscription as cheap as, I want to say the cheapest one's $11 a month. And the middle one with more invoicing is like $32.
Right. I think if you want to get all in on the bill pay and invoicing, you're at like $32.
Yeah, it's 32. But if you get it through me, I get a discount. So
Yeah, that's why I was thinking.
Yeah, something to think about.
Right.
So right then and there, you've got this whole virtual paperless system, and you're not this big business. Like,
Yeah.
you're just using readily available tools to most people.
Yeah, no, you're under like, even if you included, I think Louisiana charges you
Yeah, $100
like
bucks.
100, okay, $100 bucks. I was thinking it was less. Maybe that's just the yearly thing. Anyway, so you're at $100 bucks. Is federal free?
Federal's free.
Okay, so you're at $200 bucks and you're fully functional, can pay people and get paid more.
And account for it.
more right.
And not have some accountant like me at the end of the year going, why didn't you keep track of this stuff? You
Right.
should. Where you're like, dude, I'm just trying to make a few bucks. I'm trying
Yeah.
to do business.
Right.
But like, you can do both.
Yeah.
You can start off on the right foot.
It makes me want to just like start from scratch again.
Well, it's
There's
like
something exciting about
it
that
is.
idea that's like, man, it really is a great time. You could be in an afternoon and just say, yeah, let's roll. Let's get it
let's
going.
think that through. I mean, you could, let's just say in a day, you could be set up with a name. So
Mm-hmm.
you've got a name nobody can take. You've got a tax ID numbers, which if people know doing business, that's like the gateway drug. You got to
Right.
have the tax ID number.
Yeah.
That then allows you to set up a bank account. And from there, you can pay and receive money. Like,
Right.
you're rolling.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about which you brought up, which is once you get that, or you brought up earlier, I think, once you have your tax ID number and your banking and all that, setting up your Stripe account. Well, you do that in Stripe and Xero have a great API connection. You set it up in Xero. So you go in there, set up Stripe, say, whatever, I want to take credit cards or I don't. I want to just take ACH or both, whatever you want to do.
Sure.
That's literally a 10-minute process. If
Yeah.
that. I mean, I remember doing it thinking, this is super easy.
Right.
And now you're kind of like off and rolling.
Yeah, for sure.
And then all right, you're good there. You're kind of going. What have we missed on accounting? I'm trying to think.
Well, the next would be payroll. We talked a little
Yeah.
bit about that.
Yep.
And then we've got Box Drive, Dropbox.
Yeah.
I mean, just basic office suite
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So listen. We won't gloss over payroll too much. So we use Gusto payroll, but again, I'm sure you guys are sensing a theme here. Has a great connection to Xero, and super easy to get onboarded on your employees to pay them the direct deposit. Handles all your payroll tax returns. So payroll tax compliance is kind of annoying. They do it all for you. They issue W-2s at the end of the year. They send onboarding welcome cards. I mean, it's great. We love
Yeah.
Gusto.
Nothing eases the pain of payroll tax like a welcome card.
right. I couldn't have said it better myself. And then so let's kind of bring it all home. Okay, so now you're doing business. You got whether you got internal documents or client documents. You got to store them somewhere. You don't want to put them on your laptop. You don't want to put them local. So Box Drive, Dropbox, Google Drive, kind of all cloud-based storage options,
Right.
and really cheap.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to say Google Drive comes. I know we use Gmail for our email. I haven't talked about email, but I think everybody gets that. I want to say we have Google. Well, I know we do have Google Drive. I can't figure out how much storage we have or remember, but it's enough to get you going. It's a couple. Is it like a? I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's enough to where you could put a bunch of stuff in there and you wouldn't run out, at least
Right.
initially. And then if you got to pay for it down the road, I think it's really
Sure.
cheap. So yeah, you're kind of up and running. And then the last thing I threw in there, which is a service just we love, is Loom. So you kind of get employees, you want to start doing training videos or telling clients how to do certain things or whatever the need. Loom's a great screen capture software where whatever you're doing on your screen, you capture it with your voice over it and your video if you want your video in the bottom right corner. And yeah, man, you could have your whole staff with pre-populated with videos on like internal tasks kind of things. So
yeah, I mean, in the way that people have adopted Zoom over the past year, and I mean, just kind of all these sort of collaboration technologies.
Right.
You can be off and running in no time. What's cool about this, we talked about getting started with all of these, but let's say we start the business day one, day two it doubles in any department. You hire people, you double your revenue, whatever, none of this breaks.
No.
And it's very easy to do. So that's what's really cool about this is not only are we at a place where it's like, man, it's so convenient to start a business now, but to grow a business, it's obviously there's going to be headaches, but it won't be with the admin as much as it used to be.
Well, you're set up to scale.
Right.
There's no question. I mean, you're not going to outgrow these tools unless you get like really big.
Right.
Like tens of millions of revenue big.
Sure.
Which if you do that, awesome.
Yeah.
And then you'll be glad to look for a new solution.
Yeah.
But man, you can get off and running. And I've said this a bunch, but I don't think people get like this point so much. You can do all these things inexpensively and look like a big business, just to your own team. Because I know because think about this when you hire people, it looks so much better and starts people so much off on the right foot if you have your act together and it's organized and you can say, okay, so we set this up for you and this is ready to go.
Right.
Like just that onboarding with Gusto, I think makes people feel like, okay, this is not me showing up and there's paper forms sitting at the desk waiting for me. Like that's kind of. You could do that, but I think you just look a lot better if you have it virtual.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention just the conveniences of all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if people are shopping jobs, they're going to look for the place that has
absolutely
have
the tools.
Easier. Yeah.
Well, and one thing we hadn't mentioned as we're talking, I wrote down here too. All right, so all these things are mostly subscription based, so they're cloud based or online. Password manager. So what a password manager, for those that don't use them or know, is basically it's just a vault, a highly secured vault of your passwords. And what's cool about it is, so we use 1Password. I think you were telling me in the last episode you guys used a password manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to basically you take an hour, you go find all your passwords, and basically you change them all, because 1Password will suggest very complicated passwords, which was what you want, best practice in security. And then you just tell 1Password, change my password, and then remember them. And now you just have to remember that one master password. Every time you go to a website, if you're logged into 1Password with the Google Chrome extension, dude, it just logs you in.
Yeah.
So now you start thinking, oh man, but you're telling me to set up all these apps. But yeah, 1Password's $5 a month.
Right.
And it's going to be way more secure because it's going to be better passwords than you're going to put, which is basically the same one you use for everything. Mm-hmm. Everybody does this.
Yeah.
And now you're up and running with your password manager. So now you've also got like a security kind of vibe going. And I will tell you, when we put it in, everybody has said this is one of the best things we've ever done was a password manager. It kind of sounds silly, but dude, it saves so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everybody that's so much fatigue of just having to constantly type in passwords. Yeah, there's no way.
Well, and we love the shared ones. Not to get too much into 1Password, but like you have your own, like, hey, nobody can see these, and then you have ones that are shared in your org. So it's like, I know certain software we have to get in for clients. They've given us logins. Mm-hmm. Like they've set up, hey, Mire Group, this is your login.
Right.
So, but we as a team share that. Well, it's in the shared directory. It's awesome. Like I've had it recently where I'm like, let me just check. I'm sure somebody saved this, and sure enough, I go to that website and there it is. Somebody put it in. I was like, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can really get going, man. You can do all this in a day. You can be up and running. You can look like a big business. You can do good business.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a good place to end it. I hope this has certainly been a laundry list of like everything you need to get set up, but it's very exciting that you can do this. You could do it in a basement if you wanted to.
Right.
But yeah, you could absolutely get up and running and look like a legit, and not just look like, you actually should be a legit.
You'd be a legit. Yeah.
Be a legitimate
I will tell
business.
you, just to kind of real quick, when I get somebody that sends me an invoice from one of these services, it makes me feel like, okay, like it not like I've seen, the guy, always give the plumber example. He just rips off from his little pre-populated pad of invoices. It's just like, okay, I'll pay your invoice. But when you get that one through email or in an app or something, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just a more legitimate way.
Yeah.
I think it's also branded. So we hadn't talked about that. Like
Yeah.
all this stuff is going to be branded, especially the client-facing stuff.
Right.
So again, just making you look that much better.
Yeah, and I'll say this too, branded not just in the sense that you can put your logo on it, but that you can control the parameters of like the language you want to use, and you can, so that's really cool too.
Yeah.
But that definitely getting into a whole nother
whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, if you want some more information on how you can get started, and if all this stuff sounds like stuff you need help with, go to mire.group. It's MIRE.group. And if you want more information about accounting and getting that stuff taken care of too, there's a self-assessment that lets you know right where you are as a business owner and where you can head to get more organized. So go to mire.group and check that out. Have a great day.
We'll see you next time.